2008, the Olympic trial finals, where I have to get top 3. The gun goes off. Boom, I take off running. In my mind, I'm like, okay, you got this, you can do it. But I get to the 300 meter mark of a 400 meter race. I'm in 7th place. So at that moment, I heard this voice say, no, you've come too far. You've worked too hard. Like, you need to keep going. You can, you must, you will, keep going. And I'm flying down the back straight. And I went from 7th place to 6th place to 5th place. So I was finally, here comes Trotter, right? And I'm battling it out with this girl. Her name was Monique Henderson. Finally, the scoreboard reads TROTTER, DeeDee Trotter. She made the Olympic team. She got 3rd, right? Yeah. So I go crazy. And she got 4th, but we ran the exact same time. So I won by the 1/100th of a second.
Yo, it's your boy. It's Phil Wham Bam Benamino. It's another Wham Bam Wednesday. You know the show about ordinary people who've done extraordinary things. And as always, we got to ask you, please, go down there and subscribe. We need you to go ahead and click that like button, subscribe. Let us know. Give us some comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. But please, subscribe. It takes zero effort to do it. So very, very important to us. Today's guest, we got in the house. If you're a female, I know you ladies have been saying, I want more females on the show. Well, I got one for you today. She's not just a female. She's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-time Olympic medalist, executive chef. She's a worldwide speaker and host. We got DeeDee Trotter in the house today. Hey DeeDee, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm feeling pretty strong with these gold medals around my chest
Keep
here.
Playing, you're gonna need a chiropractor in a few hours.
Man, so thanks number one for being here and for letting me have the honor to wear this. I don't know. I almost feel like I'm robbing you though because I didn't earn them, and stuff. And I know what goes into these. Tell us a little about the journey, man. Obviously, 2 gold medals. Tell the viewers, how'd you get those medals?
So my track and field journey is crazy because I didn't even like track growing up. Like, I was not a track kid. I loved basketball. I pretty much loved indoor sports. I have eczema and asthma. I don't really think I was built for the outdoor life, but somehow I ended up out there. And I became a track and field star just through the University of Tennessee. That's where I went to college. And I started out there as a 100 meter, 200 meter sprinter. And
so you're fast.
Oh yeah, I'm fast. I'm a sprinter. I like to go fast, not slow.
You're getting some. Listen, were you fast when you were a kid? Did you run a lot as a child?
Oh yes, I was literally.
I know. Wait a second. You got some siblings. I know. You got some brothers. I know you got some brothers.
I have 2 big brothers.
I know Johan was actually on the pod here not too long ago and stuff. So were you running from him or what?
No, not running from him. I did beat his whole football team in running though when I was little. Like, yeah, I pretty much know I was fast probably since like maybe age 6 or 7. I was literally a fast little kid, and my grandpa be like, beat him, DeeDee, and run down the street and get him. And I'd be like, okay, Papa. And I just run and beat all the kids. So it was definitely something I've known my entire life, but I didn't really like to run.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't.
Who does, man? I don't like to run either, man.
Our sport is everybody's punishment. Like we really do that for real.
You're right. It is a punishment.
It's like you're in trouble. Give me 50 suicides.
Take a lap.
Yeah, that's not the fun part. But I did have the gift at a very young age. And in high school, it became undeniable on the basketball court. Everybody's like, man, please, are you going to run track? And I'm like, I guess I'll run in high school. So
how was your hoops game?
Oh, I was a baller.
Yeah, no. Now, could you take Johan? Because he's 6'11".
Nah, can't go with him.
No, you can't go with him.
Nah, he was great at basketball too.
Yeah.
But I was definitely an all-star basketball player. I actually got recruited for both basketball and track in almost most of the top schools in the country. I was very good at basketball. I was top in the county, top recognition in the state, and that was what I actually wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah. So lo and behold, I ended up being a track star. It's a crazy story, but I definitely kind of pursued track and field as a secondary sport, and I did it in high school. And then it didn't take very much effort for me. It was always my natural gift. It was always like, hey, I'm going out here and I'm a state champion in Georgia. It's like, how? Did you practice? Kind of, not really, a little bit. I had basketball practice, and then I went to track practice, and then...
Well, a lot of times kids are playing, track just to help them in their other sports.
Yeah.
Because they want to get faster, they want to get quicker, they want to stay in shape.
You'll see that all the time with football players.
Yes, exactly.
So I ended up going to being state champion in track and field, and everything just kind of came really natural to me. And when I didn't get recruited in basketball the way that I was supposed to, because honestly, no one in my family had ever gone down this journey. And when I got all these letters, we didn't really know what to do with them. We put them in a shoebox, and they just sat there. I had a shoebox with basketball letters, a shoebox with track and field letters, and they literally sat there in the house like they were just like relics or something.
Wow.
And the way that I ended up getting a college scholarship to any degree was basically just kind of luck. I finished playing basketball. We made it to the state. We got fourth. We got put out in the we finished fourth.
What position did you play in basketball?
But I finished out as a 3 guard.
Okay.
But I actually used to be a 1 until I changed schools. So I was
Three-point
point guard.
shooter?
Yeah, I was pretty much all over the place. But when I changed to 3 guard, it was kind of cool because I used to be all over the court. My speed really helped me out.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished playing basketball. Our season ended. I'm a senior. We have no games left. It was over. And my coach for track calls. He's like, hey, I entered you in the Georgia Indoor Invitational. Like, go. And I'm like, Coach, I just finished playing basketball like 24 hours ago. Like, literally. He's like, no big deal. It's on Friday. You got a whole day. Go up there and run. Mm-hmm. And I go up there and I literally jump on the track, run. I break the indoor Georgia 200-meter record, and the University of Tennessee coach was in the building. Literally, the school I wanted to go to since I was like 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
But for basketball.
Got you.
I wanted to play for the great legendary, God rest her soul, Pat Summitt.
Yeah.
That was my dream. She was my role model growing up.
It's a good one. It's a good one to have.
Yes. She was literally the only person that she taught me what winning looked like. Mm-hmm. She taught me just from like the TV screen how you can just be aggressive. You can be a woman. You can be like completely your feminine self and yet be a champion and be aggressive and you're still dope. Like that's what she kind of embodied, and that's what it fell into me, and I just really wanted to play for her. So I was going to Tennessee with her without track and field. So she and I got a letter from them too. So I was like, I know she knows.
Well, I'm just gonna say, if they're recruiting you in track, couldn't you have said, listen, part of me running track, you got to put me on the basketball team as well.
I did.
You
I negotiated that.
There you go.
So I had letters from both. I had letter from basketball and a letter from track from Tennessee. Again, didn't do anything with them. Didn't know what to do with them. And when the coach from track and field was there, she comes running down the stairs. She's like, what school are you going to? And I'm like, Tennessee. And she's like, for basketball? And I was like, kinda. And she's like, let's talk. So she's like, if you run for me for 1 year, I will personally introduce you to Pat Summitt. Nobody, she didn't lie to me. She said, we haven't had anybody do the dual sports, track and field and basketball. We haven't had that.
Right.
So, but I will give you an introduction and I'll let you plead your case and see what you can do. I think she never thought it would happen. So I think, she was more like, all right, cool, I got this. She'll be ready for me. So I took her up on her deal and got a scholarship to Tennessee and really never looked back. This is where I wanted to be. I didn't get to play for Pat Summitt, and that was not because she didn't hold up her end of the bargain. She actually did. She introduced me to Pat Summitt. I went in there and I looked her straight in her eye, and the scariest moment of my life, but the most amazing moment of my life, I looked her straight in the eye and I said, you sent me this letter, and if you give me a shot, I promise I'll be the best athlete you've ever seen on the court, the fastest thing you've ever seen on the court, a defensive threat like no other. Like I went there and just pleaded my case, and she had already heard about me because I was SEC Athlete of the Week, and I had a poster literally right outside her front door. And it was like,
she had to see you every day.
Every day, yeah. So she said, okay. She said, all right, I'll hold a tryout. I can't hold it for you. I have to open it up to the university, but I will open up tryouts, and if you, and this gives you a shot.
Right.
I said, ma'am, you don't know what you just did. And that was like me living out that dream. I didn't get to play. That coach that gave me that deal, she ended up having to resign that year. And when she resigned, she basically took that deal with her unintentionally. The new coaches came in and they would not honor that deal. They told me if I even went to the tryout that they would take my scholarship without making the team.
So you didn't even do the tryout?
No, I basically got
Pat actually opened up a tryout for you, and you didn't go?
Yep.
Wow.
I called her and told her, this is my situation.
Right.
They're threatening to take my scholarship, even if I come to the tryout with or without making the team. And she says she wouldn't have but 40% to give me, and that would come in April. I wouldn't even be able to. So this whole fall, I'd have to come up with
60% of the tuition.
The whole thing,
right,
until April.
Wow.
So
Do you regret it?
No.
At this point?
No. I miss.
That's a good thing.
That's
a good thing.
I miss basketball, but I know that running was my purpose. And
you think? I don't know. You're pretty heavy right here.
I know that running was my purpose. I know that God put it in me many, many, many years. It's like a seed that had been planted from the very beginning. Like I said, I knew I was fast my whole life.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm glad I was able to use that gift. And it led me to where I think I have a greater purpose, even though basketball would have been great and would have been fun and it would have been living out something that a dream or a passion. But I think the route that I took to go there, I still lived that dream out to some degree. Meeting my legend, being at book signings with her,
Well, here, let's call it for what it is. At this point, you are a legend there. There's nobody that's came through Tennessee that I've researched, that has the accolades that you have. Let's be honest. Female out of there, be an Olympic star 3 times.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that journey as well. But that's not easy to do for anybody.
No.
Going once, let it go twice, going 3 times, especially overcoming some of your injuries, which we'll talk about. But let's talk about how you became an Olympic star.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole process in itself.
Yeah.
Not everybody could just be like, hey, let me go try out for Olympics and, I want to make the team.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Take us through that whole journey there.
So the journey for me was one of a little bit of, I was a little bit reluctant to go down this road because before I had this conversation with you where it seems like I was very accepting of losing basketball, I was not.
Right, I understand.
So, with that ultimatum on the table, I was very upset. Sure. I felt like I had to make a choice, and I had my plans, and I didn't go down. That dream of basketball didn't go down without some negative energy with it. So when the new coaches came in, they kind of shifted me from being a 100, 200 meter sprinter to a 400 meter runner. And this, if anybody's ever run the 400, they know that this is a very undesired event.
Right.
I didn't really care about the distance, more so that I cared about specializing in what I thought I was specializing in. Mm-hmm. So they're like, you're going to be a 400 meter runner. And I just had a bad attitude. I was upset about basketball, and I was like, I don't really care what you want me to do. I'm going to run the 100 to 200 and the long jump, and y'all can figure it out with or without me. And they were like, we went back and forth for like a whole year with this. And finally, when they shifted me to the 400, that's when my Olympic opportunity started to show. So with track and field, it's really about performance and time. You don't have to try for the Olympics or a certain level when you get to a certain level of speed. So for me, being NCAA runner-up in 2003, that was kind of started the whole process. I made the world championship team. And how did you make the world championship team? It was very progressional. So I went to NCAAs. I got second place, and they were like, okay, that takes you to nationals. I'm like, okay, cool. Go to national. I did not say cool. That's a lie. I was upset. I said, you said this was the last track meet. They said, yeah, but it's just one more. I learned later that I didn't understand anything about track because I didn't want to. Right. I didn't want to learn about track. So I went to the national championship. Then that advanced me to the USAs. And then when I got to USAs, I got top 3, and that advanced me to the world, which put me on the pro circuit. Okay. So it was really performance that advanced me through. And then when I got back from world championships, I won a gold medal, a part of the relay team. And I came back home, and they were like, oh, well, they're telling you that if you want to go pro in track and field. And I was like, I don't want to go pro in track and field. I was like, that's a thing? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, well, how much do they want to pay me?
I was going to say, what is it worth?
They offered me $40,000.
$40,000 to be a pro in
to be a pro athlete in track and field. I said, no, thank you. I'm not interested. That's way too much hard work for $40,000 a year. I can go be a manager at McDonald's for $40,000 a year. No, thank you. I came to college to get an education. I will continue to be here and get out of here with a more successful career opportunity than that, right? Wasn't worth it to me. I just didn't value that money over the work that I was putting in there. So I came, they said, well, the way you can change that number is by beating the number 1 ranked person, which was Sonia Richards-Ross. At the time, just Sonia Richards. And I really didn't know who that was at the time because I wasn't a track kid. So, if you had mentioned her name to anybody else, they would have been like, oh my God, like, yeah, that's she's awesome. She's amazing. She's been a childhood star.
Right.
I didn't know because I wasn't a track kid. So I was like, who do I have to beat? And they were like, Sonia Richards, University of Texas.
And how much is that raise? What is the difference?
6 figures.
Okay.
And there wasn't no number, but
Right.
it was like, that can change from that to a 6-figure deal.
Right.
I said, now you piqued my interest. So
Now
let's
she's on
talk
the radar.
about that. Yeah, let's talk about that. Now, who is that young lady I needed to meet again?
Where is she at? Where is she
Right.
at? Let's go on the track right now.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, without really knowing her and without knowing, and it's so funny, I just did her birthday cake literally like 2 days ago.
Did you really?
I did her 40th birthday cake.
Oh, that's good. You guys became friends.
So at the time, I said, okay, well, if all I got to do is beat her, then let's get it. Let's go. So I set my sights on becoming the NCAA champion, and that meant beating whoever needed to be beat. So 2004, I did what I needed to do. I became the 2004 NCAA champion for the University of Tennessee in the 400 meters, and I broke the track record at the University of Texas in doing so, and obviously, by being champion, I beat Sonia Richards-Ross, which is what they told me I needed to do.
Which they said and people didn't think you could do it.
Yeah, I don't think
Right.
anyone thought I could do it because I wasn't.
She was ranked number 1 for a long time.
She's a champion, and she had a childhood legacy of just being the top in the 400 meters, and I had no 400 meter experience really. So this is like, oh, you just dropped in the 400 meter runner 2 years ago, like basically 1 year of 400 meters, and then the next year I'm the NCAA champion.
Right.
So they were like really shocked because I didn't have the history, and I definitely didn't have the background for it. So
Right.
I was like, okay, done. So then I signed a 5-year contract with Adidas going into after the 2004 Olympics. So you asked, the question was, how do you get to the Olympics? After NCAAs, that took you to the Olympic trials because I was NCAA champion. I qualified for that meet.
Right.
And then there, all you have to do is get top 3 and you go to the Olympics or the championship. But that year, it was the Olympics. So I made the 2004 Olympic team as a junior at the University of Tennessee. And that is what put me on the Olympic platform.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about the Adidas. So Adidas came around. That just popped out there.
Yeah.
They just showed up and said, "Hey, listen, we want you to wear our." Now you got to wear their shoes. I'm guessing their brand, everything else.
Yeah.
So what was that? What was that like? I mean, that had to have been pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, that
somebody's
was
willing
cool.
to pay you and give you money and get behind you to represent them.
Yeah, absolutely. There was other shoe companies involved as well, but I ended up signing with Adidas. I had a 5-year contract with them.
What'd that look like? They pay you?
Oh yeah, I got my 6-figure deal.
Okay,
I did.
so yeah.
And I made them pay, or I shouldn't say made them. I asked.
I like how you put that out. I made them.
asked them to pay for my final year of college. So that didn't come out my pocket because y'all can't take my scholarship. You took my scholarship, then I gotta pay? No. So
But I'm sure they gave some really cool shoes.
Oh, lots of shoes. So many shoes that I ended up starting a nonprofit program called Gifted Souls because after so many years of running, I had too many shoes.
Wow.
And people need shoes.
Give back.
Yeah,
That's
gotta
it.
give back.
That's
exactly.
it.
That
That's
inspired
awesome.
that.
That's awesome.
So I signed with Adidas, and that was
Now,
really
were you
cool.
wearing Adidas shoes though at the time?
Yeah, because Tennessee was an Adidas.
Okay.
Adidas.
So at least you were familiar with it.
Absolutely. That
How,
was an
how,
easy
how would you have
transition.
felt if Nike came in and said, "Hey, we want to give you a Nike deal," and you've been wearing Adidas? Would that have been a little struggle for you? Because are you a little superstitious of what you were?
Nah, I don't think it would have been a problem. I think later on, I actually ended up transitioning later in my career to Nikes. So I mean, I guess really it was more so what was the best shoe for you. I had my best years with shoes on my feet were Adidas. So I don't know if that's because I started in them and, I got comfortable in them or my feet kind of started rocking with them. I don't know.
I often wonder if people turn down deals because, for example, I mean, track is the
Jordan
sport.
did.
Like Jordan did. Jordan made his own shoe, right?
Yeah.
He changed the game
Yeah.
of actually, that whole network of making money with shoes.
Exactly.
But I mean, you think about that. But let's just say, like, if you're wearing Adidas and Nike came in and offered you 2 times of what Adidas, but you wear their shoes and it slows you down.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a problem.
It is a problem.
That's a problem. So
And
it's
I
like,
think-
do you take the money up front, wear the shoe, maybe not have a few of these, or I mean, I'm just wondering.
I mean, I guess it would depend on how big your deal was. I ended up having to do something similar. I signed a contract with Saucony some years later, And Saucony, I love them. They had my back, and they had a great reputation for distance shoes, but they did not have a sprint shoe department at the time. And so we were kind of like their first sprinters. Myself,
Gotcha. You were the beta test.
Yes, we were their first sprinter division, period.
Gotcha.
So it was myself, Wallace Spearman, Lauren Williams. We had a select group of some of the top athletes in the world amongst the different different disciplines. And we just had to kind of rock with them, and they tried to build the shoes for us, and I went through some struggles with trying to transition over to them when they didn't have that foundation yet. So we actually struggled with them to get going, but when I took that deal with them, I didn't really have a lot of choices. I was coming back from knee surgery, and Adidas had cut my contract the first year.
So let's talk about that real quick.
Whole contract
let me slow you down. Let me slow you down here, because I want to go back here, because now you got a deal. You're in the Olympics. You're fast. You're breaking all the records out there, and then boom, you have an injury.
Yes, 4 years later. So after 2004, I had a great Olympic debut. I finished 5th in the world out of lane 1. I ran the fastest time out of lane 1. I ran 50 flat, which became the University of Tennessee school record. And again, Olympic time from lane 1 was pretty hot. But then after that, I signed the 5-year contract, and I started to train for the 2008 games. So I'm training, I'm getting going. Everybody's like, the 4-year gap. People always think that with track and field athletes or Olympic athletes that we only compete every 4 years. That's not the case. Every year between the Olympics, there's another championship. So they're
paying you too. So you're gonna work.
And there's also meets all around the world. We don't just compete once every 4 years. We have whole seasons throughout the whole rest of the years as well. So
I don't want you to get fat, man. No, eating all them pastries and stuff.
We gotta stay busy.
That's right.
You can't. If I only competed once every 4 years, that'd be terrible. So I ended up preparing. We had the world championship. 2005 I was indoor champion. 2006 I was indoor champion 400 meters as well. Then 2007.
So hold on, let me ask you real quick, because you just kind of sparked. I had Dominique Blake was on our show here. She's an Olympic star, obviously Jamaica, but she got in trouble with some doping. Okay, some laws and stuff. Do you ever get involved? Any issues with that? During your time?
Not
negative side. That's good. Testing all that stuff.
I started a nonprofit because of that.
Yeah.
I started a nonprofit called Test Me, I'm Clean. And we were an international nonprofit. Basically, it was more so about just visibility and representation. You put on the wristband, it says, "Test me, I'm clean." People see it on you. That means they know you rock the clean way. We also started, making sure we educated younger athletes about the dangers of performance enhancement drugs. My nonprofit and my representation of that became like the cornerstone of what the World Anti-Doping Agency, the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, all the organizations that deal with drug testing. Whenever there was an issue, they come to Test Me, I'm Clean, like we were the answer to the guru to all the problems. So it was kind of cool. I was on Sports Illustrated wearing they called it Grist from the Wrist. DeeDee Trotter represents clean sports, and so I think for me, doping has never been okay. I have always stood against it in almost every capacity you can recognize. And I took a formal stand, and I made it very public and introduced it to the world. So doping.
Do you know, because, and I know in Dominique's case, she wasn't really doping either. It was just a drug like caffeine, like a Red Bull, that can get you in trouble. But they change them so rapidly and so many laws. But did you ever have any pressure from coaches to say, hey, listen, I need you to stack this or do this because you work for us?
No.
So that's good. That's good. But that goes on though, right? I've heard of it.
I'm sure it does. And I'm sure some groups, but what I did is I kept my circle very tight and
listen, I watched Rocky IV, and I saw the Russian taking shots of steroids to be able to beat the underdog. I'm just saying, it's out there, right?
It's out there.
So,
no, it's out there. It's a real world.
Right.
You don't say "Test me, I'm clean" because it's fake.
Yeah.
It's a real world, but I also think as an individual, you know where you are.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm in a camp and I know people in my camp are doing things the wrong way, do I want to be associated with that becomes the question. Do I want every performance that I have to be questioned? Do I want to be even under the umbrella of the potential of this happening to me? No, I do not, for me.
Right.
So everyone gets to make that choice.
Your integrity is
You know
different.
where you are.
Right.
And if I'm in a place where that's happening, I'm out. I don't want no parts of it. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care what Nike or Adidas or whoever says I need to do. If y'all want to reduce my contract so I can move elsewhere, I'm gone. I'm not finna have my hard work and my legacy even remotely contaminated or tainted by the environment.
Did you ever get beat by somebody that was doping that you
All
knew?
the time.
And is it did it bother you? Did it eat at you?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'd
And you
find it
just
hard to
hope
put
that
my...
the system comes back around, right? You hope that at some point they get caught.
Yeah.
And that they come back reversing your medals like they did with Lashinda Demas this past 2024 Olympic Games.
They can't take these ones.
No, they cannot.
Wham Bam got them, baby. I'm going to protect these for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that, that happened multiple times throughout my career. And, that's the kind of thing that that made me angry enough to start a whole program that says, don't even play with my name.
That's awesome.
Don't play with my name.
That's awesome. That's
don't
good.
When you say my name, you say test me, I'm clean. Don't put my name anywhere near that. And that's a choice. You know what I mean? I could have gone, there was lots of camps I could have gone and trained at. I trained with my coach my entire career. I stayed with the same coaches, the same program. Coach Carol Smith Gilbert was the assistant coach at University of Tennessee. When she went to UCF, I went to UCF. When she went to USC, I went to USC. So wherever she went, I went. We stayed together. We worked together. And that's how I know my house was a good home.
It was a recipe that worked.
Yep.
You know, so if it
people
works.
would say, hey, you could be here, you could be there. Multiple coaches tried to poach and tell you to go here and go there. No, I'm good. I'm good because it's more than just about, it's not just about running fast.
Right.
What's all of that running fast if at the end of the day you end up somewhere that puts your whole performance under question? I'm good.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's get back into the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
Injuries.
Oh.
You're sitting there, you're running, everything's going great. You just signed a deal.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, what every athlete, prays that never happens.
Right.
Happens.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, 06, I was USA champion indoors. 07, I finally got my first USA outdoor title. I ran a personal best time of 49.64 seconds for the one lap around the track.
Personal best.
And
you're sitting there. You're on top of the world right now.
Yeah, I'm soaring. So here comes 2008. I'm like, okay, it's time to get this gold. The first time I was there, I didn't know what I was doing. I was a junior at Tennessee. I had, deer in the headlights. I didn't know what was going on. I was just out there and they told me to run. I said, how far? They said there. I said, how fast? All right, I got you. So like my whole first Olympic experience was very naive. I didn't, like I said, my whole past was not.
Kind of like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Run, baby. Just run.
Run, Forrest.
Run, Forrest, right?
Run. So like I had no idea what I was doing my first time around. So this time I was focused. I knew what I was coming to do. And in 2008, I started training to make that transition from Olympic finalist to Olympic gold medalist. And April of 2008, the Olympic trials are in June. So here I am in April. I'm ready to go. It's game time, And I woke up one day with a swollen knee for no reason.
Wow. You woke up with this.
Just woke up one day. The day before I was at practice, nothing wrong with me, no problems, nothing I even would have thought would have caused me to wake up with a swollen knee.
How old are you at this point?
Let's see, 2008. Y'all gonna have to do the math. I'm 42 now. And
So you're young.
Yeah, I was.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I was
I mean,
in my 20s. Yeah.
I wake up. I'm in 50. I wake up, I'm sore and everything else. So that's what I was wondering.
I was in my 20s. My 20s. I'd be like 26 or something like that. I don't know. So I'm sitting there and I wake up with a swollen knee, size of a grapefruit, and I'm like, what the heck?
That ain't normal.
Nope. And I get up. I immediately go to the Tennessee training room. And they're like, no, we got you. We're going to send you over there to get to the knee specialist. I said, cool. So we go over there, and he does some x-rays and some images, and he comes back, and he's like, DeeDee, we got a big problem here. I was like, Doc, it can't be that big of a problem. I was literally just fine yesterday. Like, I'm good. He's like, no, you have something called a chondral femoral defect, which is basically saying you have a small hole in your femur bone. And he said, and it requires a surgery that has a 90% failure rate of you being able to come back and perform the way that you used to.
90% failure.
Failure.
And he told you that.
Yes.
And you're sitting there like, I just signed a contract.
I'm like,
I got endorsement deals.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I'm pretty much like, how? I was fine yesterday. That's what my brain kept going back to. I was literally just fine yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I don't, basically I could give you a cortisone shot but it'd be like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. I don't really have a solution for this. What you will be able to endure will be 100% up to you. And at that moment, the word endurance took a new definition for me because, my entire life when I heard the word endurance, I always thought it was like how far you could go before you got physically tired. But when he said that, immediately it transitioned to how far I could go before I got mentally tired. Like not physical, but mental. Yeah, how much could I take? And so I was like, well, if it's up to me, we good, let's go. Because if you're telling me this might be my last chance to run at the level that I run at, and this is the Olympic trials are in June and we're in April, I'm gonna try to make this gap. Let's go. So shoot it up, drain it out, whatever you gotta do, and let's put a plan together to make it through the 2008 Olympic Games. Let's make this team. And he's like, let's go. Dr. Mathian, no problem. So he goes.
So you did the cortisone.
Yeah, I got the cortisone, which was like he was right. It did nothing.
Right. Well, back then, man, listen, I played my last college game with broken ankle on cortisone, so I know what that feels like. Yeah.
He drains it out.
But it's a miracle drug for a minute.
I don't even know if it gave me a minute. I honestly didn't get very much results from it, and he was 100% right. It was eventually, I think it helped me hold off the swelling for maybe 2 or 3 days, or sometimes maybe 3 or 4 days. By the third round of it, it was holding off the swelling for me a little bit. But basically, the knee would just continue to swell. And once it would swell, you lose range of motion. You got too much fluid around you can't move your knee very well. So it was like, drain it. We had a series of draining the fluid out, cortisone in, draining the fluid out, cortisone in. And that was the routine until we got to the Olympic Games. So, we were trying to get to the Olympic Games. We hadn't made it yet. So the journey there was crazy. I walked out the doctor's office that day and I was like, cool, I'm good. I think, this can't be that big of a deal. I know what he's saying, but it doesn't feel crazy right now. So went back. I had my first track meet. It was live on ESPN. I was USA champion from 2007. So I'm feeling myself. I'm Gucci. I'm good, right? So I go out on the track and I ran the race and I got last place. Butt naked, last place, running as hard as I could. And I was like, okay, no big deal. I know how to take a loss. I'm good. You don't get to greatness without taking some losses. So loss teaches what you need to know to win.
But let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's one thing to lose. It's nothing to be last.
Yeah.
You're not used to
Doesn't
that.
matter.
Yeah, but you're not used to that.
Yeah, my psyche it doesn't matter.
Okay.
For me, loss is loss. You learn from it every time.
Always.
No matter whether you first, last, second, third, doesn't matter which phase you lose in. You're going to learn something to help you change your outcome next time. So it didn't matter which place I got. Just, I knew it was bad. Gotcha. So I said, okay, got you. I was running like nothing was wrong. I got to make an adjustment here. There's something wrong. I need to adjust. Yeah. So the next race, I was like, cool, I got to train different. I got to do something a little different. So went back out there live on ESPN again. I'm the USA champion, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself still. Sure. I got my chances are still good. So I get on the track and boom, run around. I was doing everything. I was like running so hard. Guess what? Last place. Now it becomes a little psychological.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, last place, back to back, cool. Go to your system, call some people. Hey, coach, what do I got to do? I'm trying everything I know how to do. She's like, well, you keep trying to do the same old thing you used to do, but you're different now. Life has changed. You got to change with change. So you need to come up with a new formula. You got to come up with a new way to win.
Sure.
I said, cool, coach. At the time, I didn't really know what she was talking about. I'm in my 20s. My brain is not fully developed for that conversation yet. But I took it in as like, change the way you train literally, not mentally. So I was like, okay. So I started training harder. I started trying to find new ways to get strong and not be on my leg and keep the weight off. And I go to my next race, and it was in Europe. So I had to take a flight. It's tough. And I got last place again.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. And I was running almost 54 seconds, which is a far cry from 49.64.
Sure.
So, and it will not make an Olympic team.
Right.
Not anywhere close to make an Olympic team at 54 seconds. So I ended up coming back home and saying, all right, no problem. I got one more race. I'm cool. I got this. I'm figuring it out. Every time I lose, I learn. I'm figuring it out. Every time I lose, I learn. I'm figuring it out. Getting a little, I got this. I know if I get one more race, I'm good. So I go to Prefontaine, U.S. #1 track and field competition, one of the largest also, and one of the top in the world. So I'm excited about this one, Prefontaine. Nobody wants to miss Prefontaine. So I get there, and I'm literally sitting in my hotel room. I got one leg in my uniform. Kid you not, one leg in my tights. And I get a phone call from my agent. And he says, DeeDee, don't come to the track. I'm like, what? He's like, don't come to the track. I've been fighting with these guys all night. And they're basically taking your lane. They're giving it to another athlete because you've been running so poorly in the last 3 competitions. And I was like, yeah, I understand that. But I'm trying to work through something here. I think I got it figured out. Just give me one more shot. I just need this race. He's like, they're going to pay you first place prize money to go home. Period. And that's all that's it. They don't want you here. So at that point, I get very frustrated. I feel tears, and I'm not a crier. So when I'm getting to the point where tears are coming out, I'm feeling very, defeated. And I literally had this voice in my head that said, give up. Like, it's time. You've tried. Good job.
God's telling you something else.
Yeah.
You start convincing yourself of shit.
And I just started feeling like, how can I continue to go if they won't even let me run at this point?
Right.
And I don't have any other opportunities. So then I heard this little voice says, don't give up. You can, you must, you will, keep going. And I was like, okay, cool. I heard it. Boom. Just like that. Called my agent back. I was like, hey, Mark, get me a race anytime, any state, any city, any place. I don't care. I just need one more shot. Get me one more race. He found me a race in Claremont, Florida, a place I'd never heard of before, never been to. I mean, this guy stuck to the parameters pretty tight. And I go to Claremont, and I ran in the most unique and humbling race of my entire career. I ran on the race with like a 16-year-old girl at the same time as me. This is very different. And 2 ladies that were like in the senior category, like seriously, like in the like maybe 55, 65 age group range. They were just it's like very recreational for them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a recreational meet, but I said anytime, any place, any city, any state.
So let me ask you, do you think he did that on purpose? Like, was he playing with you?
No, he found the only race he could find.
Bro, that was it.
Right before the Olympic trials.
Sounds like you just went outside and raced, grabbed a couple people at Kroger's or something, throw in there. You know what I mean?
It needed to be USATF official.
Well, I get it.
So he found an official race.
All right.
I'm thankful for it every day. The most unique race of my entire career was ran that day. And it actually put pressure on me in a different way I had ever experienced pressure because I really did not want to
I don't want to lose to a 16-year-old. I don't want to lose to a 55-year-old.
I didn't want to lose
to
these nice people. So, it's funny part of my motivational speech. Actually, I tell it, and when I tell that, I tell it in the most humbling of ways, and I also tell.
DeeDee, I got to know what the time is. I'm sorry, because I got this vision. I see one with a walker in there. I see a little kid trying to get there. What was the time? What was your time? I figured you beat him, but what was the time?
51.9.
Okay.
So I dropped it down from
right.
that 54 a couple of seconds. Now, obviously, 51.9 is still not good enough to make the Olympic team, but it was progress. Right. And that's when I started learning the power of progress. Even just that little bit of change helped me to feel more confident in myself. And I was like, okay, 51.9. Okay, I'm making progress. I got this. I can do it. So I was like, okay, I'm ready for the trials. Well, I ain't had no choice but be ready. There was no more races.
Well, what's funny about track and that sport, and that's the one thing that I admire, and I admire you. It's anybody can line up in you put anybody against you, but at the end of the day, you're not going against them. You're going against the clock. That clock is who you're going against. So it doesn't matter who's in the race or where the race is. Exactly. You're going against the clock.
Exactly.
And so that's the reality. Once you get that around you wrap your mind around that. Then it changes everything. It changes the game.
Even if they had beat me that day, thank you God they did not. But even if they had beat me that day and I had ran 51.9, I still would have been like, oh, thank you God. Okay.
Right. I'm looking
better.
Exactly. I'm going the right direction.
Exactly.
Sure.
So I went to the 2008 Olympic trials with that 51.9 second race in my back pocket and, some newfound confidence that I had, what I needed to overcome to get this injury to function for me. And all I had to do was get top 3. All you have to do to make the Olympic team in the United States is get top 3. First, second, or third. It doesn't matter which one you get.
Sure.
You get one of those 3 spots, you get your chance to go for the gold. Period.
Right.
First is great. Third is just as great.
Right.
That day.
Doesn't matter. That's right. That's right.
So,
You just qualify.
you make it.
That's right.
To fight for the gold. That's
right.
it.
Get on the bus.
Yeah, don't get fourth.
Right.
Don't get fourth. You don't want fourth. Fourth means you just missed it.
Yep.
You'll be watching it from home.
Yeah.
So I knew what I had to do. And the first round of the 400, I made it through. No problems. I won the heat. Made it through. My injury started to have a lot more pain. So after I finished running, I would have quite a bit of pain. So, but I didn't want to give my competitors any power. I know that if you believe enough in anything, it can change your outcome of everything.
Absolutely.
So if one of the people that I've run against for many years see me on the track and they're like, oh, is DeeDee hurt? All it would take for them to see me a little bit hurt and they'll be like, ooh, I can beat her. Mm-hmm. And just that moment of saying, ooh, I can, will change their ability to go out and have the confidence they need to perform at their potential.
Right.
But sometimes what I had done is put a lot of fear in people with my finish. I was a finisher. People be like, oh, I'm doing good. Here comes DeeDee Trotter. Here comes Trotter. Because at this point, she's coming. You
got a cool ass name.
I got it. But
DeeDee, you got a cool name. You got a cool name, too. I can just say, here comes DeeDee Trotter around the corner.
Like a horse race.
It does sound like a horse race.
So,
giddy up, baby. Giddy up.
Coming down the line. She's trying. So, a lot of people started to, they lost a little confidence in themselves when they were running against.
Do you ever have any merch? I'm just thinking about this now. Where's the DeeDee Trotter merch?
Where is the Trotter?
Like you said, with the horse races, and there's DeeDee, your face.
I know. I never had my good merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I made through the first round. I made sure my competitors never saw me in a weakened state. I walked off like nothing was wrong with me. Made sure they always saw something that seemed normal. Mm-hmm. And didn't want to give anybody any power. Not in the last minutes. I needed all my power. So the next round, and no matter what anybody tells you, the semifinals is the hardest round of any qualifying competition because it is the fight to get one of those 8 lanes. It is the hardest round. Everyone's killing themselves to get one of 8 lanes. So the semifinals was tough. I ran against Sonya Richards again, and she won the semifinals, and I got second, and I made it to the finals, which, for me, I'm just living to fight another day.
Right.
I did not care. I just needed to get there.
Just get there.
So I got there in good fashion as well. So 2008, the Olympic trial finals, where I have to get top 3. The gun goes off. Boom. I take off running. And I'm, in my mind, I'm like, okay, you got this. You can do it. But I get to the 300-meter mark of a 400-meter race, and I'm in 7th place, which is almost last. So at that moment, all those previous races where I kept coming in last at the 300-meter mark, the race would continue to change for me. And I heard this voice say, you've been here before. Every time you're here, you lose. Like, just go ahead and wrap it up. But then there's like this other little voice clicked in my head and said, no, you've come too far. You've worked too hard. Like, you need to keep going. You gotta keep running. You can, you must, you will, keep going. And just like that, I transformed, like, my brain, like, it almost went into like overdrive. It was like, I started to feel myself shutting down. And then I was like, no, you still have 100 meters left. Like, go. And so I took off down this last 100-meter stretch, right? And I'm flying down the back straight. And I went from 7th place to 6th place to 5th place. So I was
Trotter's coming.
Here comes Trotter, right? And I'm finally in 4th place, the place you do not want to be in. And I'm battling it out with this girl. Her name was Monique Henderson. I love her. I'll never forget her name, though. Monique was my girl. But we're battling it out. And I'm kind of like, feeling the energy from her, like we're right next to each other. So I'm feeling the energy and I'm thinking like, please slow down. Like she's like, no, you slow down. I'm like, no, you slow down. And we're like battling it out to the finish line. I mean, literally side by side.
Yeah. You ever want to give a little elbow, a little kick?
No, never. Integrity. So I feel, you could feel this tension between us as we are battling it out. And we both lean at the finish line. And the first place runner, Sonya Richards-Walsh, she run the 2008 Olympic trials. She got first. She's going to the Olympic Games in Beijing. Mary Weinberg, one of my good friends, she never made an Olympic team before. This was her first Olympic team. I was actually kind of happy for her while this was happening. I'm like, oh, that's great, Mary, congratulations. but I'm like, who got third? Because they weren't putting it up on the scoreboard. So finally, the scoreboard reads Trotter, DeeDee Trotter. She made the Olympic team. She got third, right? Yeah. So I go crazy. And she got 4th, but we ran the exact same time. So I won by the 1/100th of a second.
Was it the nose?
No.
You put a nose on. Now that you put
You
nose,
can't
you put
win
a shoulder.
by your
Like
nose.
I
You
know what's
gotta
it gonna
win
be.
by your
Oh, it's gonna be the chest. That's right. That's right. It is the chest. It's gonna be the chest now. That's right.
That was the 2008 Olympic trials. I got third place. I made my second Olympic team with a hole in my knee.
Hi, I'm Phil Benamino, CEO and founder of Cost Plus Processing, the company that provides financial services to your business. We provide things such as POS systems, ATM machines, and check services. One of the biggest things that we strive ourselves here at Cost Plus Processing is our customer service. We are an A+ rated with the BBB with customer service, and we're proud to say we're here in the United States with all of our customer service agents. Our objective is to actually teach you and educate you about the costs that you're currently paying and show you ways where you can eliminate those costs that you no longer have to pay. One of the biggest programs that are out there today is our dual pricing program, where you actually can offer your customers now a choice of how they want to pay. Do they want to pay with cash or do they want to pay with card? And if they pay with card, it actually helps you to absorb the card fees, so you no longer have to pay the fees like you've done for many, many years. Cost Plus Processing aligns ourselves with some of the top POS companies out there in the industry today. For example, we have perfected the car dealership industry, and our dedicated team are equipped to manage a variety of online payment forms and financing options that merchants require in this advanced ecosystem of payments. If you have a restaurant, we are proud to be able to manage the ongoing difficulties that arise from this fast-paced industry, and you're looking for pay at the table, where customers can easily swipe their cards, tap their cards, and make their payments with tip, and also have a choice of how they want to pay, we have the solutions for you here at Cost Plus. We want to help other small business owners make their dreams come true by providing the best financial support. From barbershops to liquor stores, having the ability to take payments scheduled online and make calculating tip sharing an easy task only helps business owners put more attention and money into what really matters the most. Also, Cost Plus Processing is on the front end of AI. We can also provide you kiosks for your business, so customers can walk over to the kiosk and order anything that they want. Likewise, if you're having problem getting employees in the kitchen to work, we can also provide you robots that will actually deliver your food straight to the customer. I want to thank you for the time that you took to learn a little bit about Cost Plus Processing, and most importantly, why we are the future of merchant processing. Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I tell a joke, but it's actually really true. I mean, after that, I really thought God loved me more than he loved everybody else. You know, I'm like, hey, I'm going to the Olympic Games. I'm going to win. Like, why would I come this far only not to? I mean, he's got me. I ran time of 50.88. So
got better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, by the time I get to Beijing, I'm good. Like, he's teeing this up. This is so cool, right? So I'm like, you know, I'm good. Why would I get this far? Why would he let me get this far if he's not going to take me the whole way? This is it. I'm going to be able to do it under the most, you know, distressful situation. I got this. So I go to Beijing. I run the first round. And in the second round, my knee just literally I don't know, it started feeling like noodles. And this is August. Mm-hmm. So mind you, the injury came in April. Here we are in August. It's been several months under this type of distress. Continuation of training. I was at my fittest when I got to the Beijing training center, and even surprised my coaches. They was like, wow, you just PR'd in 150s. You just PR'd. Like, they were like, whoa, you ready to run, girl. And I think my last good run on that knee was at that practice, my last practice before the 400 rounds. I ran that PR in the 150, and I think that just took out the last little bit of goodness that was in there. Yeah. And I ran the first round. I made it through to the second round, but at the end of the day, I finished 13th overall in the world after my knee just really gave out on me. I just wouldn't move anymore. And so in the 4x4, I had to give up my spot because I was not confident that I could make it around the track without jeopardizing the whole team's opportunity to make the finals. So they were like, no, we'll put you on anchor leg on the preliminary round so that you still get a medal and you were still part of the team. You earned your spot here. I'm like, yeah, but what if I don't make it around the track? Like, I can't risk that. We got to put in our subs, you know? And nobody thought I would do that. It was one of the weirdest moments. I was literally yelling at people in the warm-up area 30 minutes before the race saying, I need the alternates to seriously warm up. I don't know if I can run. I don't think I can run, you guys. No one expected me to give up this spot because it is a spot that people die for.
Right.
It is, they were like, she's not going to do it. And they did not think I would do it. I was like, what do you expect me to do? If I can't run, I'm not going to be so selfish that I want my own gold medal so bad that I'm going to jeopardize this whole team getting a medal and our country getting a medal and continuing to be the number one winningest 4x4 team in the world. Like, why would I do that? That's very selfish.
Sure.
I was not playing. I said, you guys need to warm these alternates up. I can't run. So it wasn't until the minute they were like, oh, go warm up. She's not going to run. I was like, I told y'all I wasn't playing. So I come home 2008, no medals, no money, no success, nothing. So I thought at the time, my mind was like, this is just one of those things that I'm maybe gave my best shot, but the outcome is the outcome.
Time's up.
Yeah, gave it your best. Let's go have this surgery. So I had the surgery, and nowadays the same surgery is probably like nothing. I know several athletes who've had it, who had it after me years later, and the technology is so advanced. Yeah. But at the time, it had a very low success ratio. And I had the surgery, and for 3 years I would struggle. I lost that Adidas contract, like I told you earlier. And I would then go to sign with Saucony for 3 years. And I'm so thankful for this company. They came in and when I was literally at the lowest value, coming back from knee surgery, they took a chance on me. I took a chance with them, and they didn't have a sprint division. And so, it was kind of like a mutual chances we took, I guess you can say. But signing with them, they gave me the support I needed to keep running. So I became in 2008, had the surgery. 2009, I struggled. 2010, I struggled. 2011, struggled. Over those years, I literally lost more races than I can remember. I stopped being a winner altogether. People started to say she just needs to retire. Statistics were true.
What did you think back then? I mean, honestly, like you're going through this. You've had some success. Now you're seeing the changes. Yeah. You had the surgery. You really didn't like to run anyways. You said that. That wasn't really your thing. Was there a time where you just said, you know what, maybe it's time to just put them up?
I think by that time I had grown to have a fondness for the track, for the sport. And something in my spirit said, you're not done. When a lot of times you'll see athletes that hang on to their sport a lot longer than they should, it's because something in their spirit is still telling them that they're not done.
Sure.
And my mind and my body kept saying, you are not connected. You need to connect your mind with your new body, and you need to try to figure this out. Again, what my coach said, flashback to my head, you need to find a new way to win. You got to change with change. And so I kept saying that to myself. And although everything was telling me to give up and to quit and to retire, I had lost so much.
Were the coaches telling you to step aside?
No. My coaches, if your coaches, there's a time where your coaches need to be honest with you, and there's a time where your coaches need to support you. My coaches always supported me.
That's good. So they knew.
Yes.
They knew. They knew your potential.
I still shock them. But they believed that as long as because they know me, and they know my work ethic, and they know my determination, so they trusted me to say when I needed to shut down or go. Mm-hmm. So as long as I never told them we're shutting down, they stayed on board. But to be honest with you, there was only one person that I can say never wavered through all 3 years of those losses, all 3 years of those failures, like through the entire journey of literally looking like I need to hang my spikes up. That was Johan, my brother. Yeah. He is, sorry.
Nah, take your time. Take your time.
He is and will always be my number one fan. Yeah. So he never wavered, not 1 minute. He always thinks I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. He there was never any
with
doubt.
Peanut butter and jelly on it. With peanut butter and jelly
everything on it. He never, ever doubted that I would make it, even when things looked absolutely ridiculous and looked very unlikely. He's the only person that didn't look at me with doubt in their eyes. And like I told you, people continued to push because they knew that they needed to be around me. They needed to have that positive mentality. But you can still sense doubt in people's eyes and their face and their energy and their emotions. I knew there were doubters around me, but they would go in and out of doubt, but never him. Mm-hmm. So throughout that journey, I knew that some people had lost a little faith in me, but I kept hearing God's voice tell me, keep pushing. You can, you must, you will, keep going. Like, you got this. Mm-hmm. And so in 2012, I remember what my coach said, and I said, I got to change this up. I'm disconnected. So I came up with a mental training formula. And that's when I realized my mental game was whack. I was a mess because my mental game was a mess. I needed to be not physically stronger. I needed to be mentally stronger, and mentally stronger would make me physically stronger. So I started training my mental, getting myself back mentally motivated by implementing like a written series of what I called it was my wall of progress. Mm-hmm. And basically I started writing down everything. I wrote down the goal. I wrote down my emergency responder, which became I can, I must, I will, that voice I kept hearing. And I wrote down never give up, because this was the one thing that I felt I needed to remind myself every day, no matter what I was going through. And so when I started, I put that on a wall where I had to see it every day. Like, can't miss it. You're going to see this every day. You're going to say it every day. You're going to read it every day. You're going to write it with your hand. You need to embody this, because I had stopped believing in myself.
Manifestation's real.
Absolutely.
It's real.
And belief is the key to this whole entire to getting to your greatness. It takes belief. And a lot of times what we don't realize is that belief and confidence they play in the same park. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have confidence in yourself, it's very hard to believe in yourself. So I had to rebuild my confidence because I lost it and didn't even really know I did.
Sure.
So I started building my confidence back up, and by using progress to make myself feel more confident, and then more confident made me believe more. So I started to, grow in a different direction. So now I'm at I'm at UCF, and I'm with Coach Carroll at UCF now. So we've left Tennessee. We're now at UCF in Florida, and I'm training for the 2012 Olympic Games. And this is my final year with Saucony. So I got my back against the wall. Mm-hmm. It's, make the team or wrap it up. This is it.
So at that point, you told yourself, this is the last dance.
That's it.
Okay.
I got no more
We're
contract
all in now.
left.
We're all in.
Yep,
this is it.
I'm almost 30 years old. Mm. I have no more contract years left if I don't do something here. So it's make it or shut it down. Right. Exactly. So I started training, and literally there's moments I'm out on the track and my coach is like, DeeDee Trotter, what you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna make the Olympic team. She was like, what you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna be the Olympic champion. So like this became the energy and the mentality that we started to utilize every single day at practice. It became a war zone of greatness. It became the trenches, the trenches of trying to get to the top. And so it took full embodiment mentally. It was mental strength. Becoming a mental champion had to happen before I could become a physical champion. It was like, fix your mind.
Right.
And so now I have a whole program called Mental Champ that I use to help other athletes hone in on their mental greatness so that they can become the great athletes that their physical potential could ultimately be.
Right on.
So I go to the 2012 Olympic trials. I love this part of the story. My first race of the year, after 3 years of not being able to break 51 seconds outdoors, which, as you know, 51 seconds is not going to make any team.
Right.
So I make my first race of the season. I was at Kansas Relays. I ran 50.98 or something, just breaking that 51-second barrier, and I ran the world leading time. So I was like, oh yeah, we're off to a great start. And then then I went to my next race. I ran a time of like 50.88, which was not that much difference from 50.90, but it's progress.
It's progress, yeah.
Then the next race I ran another 50.8, and it was like, oh, good.
I'm getting better.
Progress. I didn't run I just ran just barely faster than the time before, but every race I'm getting a little bit faster. The next race, I ran a time of 50.79, which was just barely anything from the 50.80 I had ran before. But man, you couldn't tell me nothing. I'm like, did it again. Let's go. Right? Progress.
Right.
So I started taking my little progress and it built my confidence back up. And at that point, I was one race from my next race was the Olympic trials. And all I had to do was get one of those 3 spots. And in 2012, I got second place. I ran a time of 50.02. Almost 49 seconds.
Bam.
Yep.
Bam.
50.02.
That's what you call a wham bam right
That is
there.
a
Man.
wham bam.
Right there, boy.
Thank you, ma'am. So I had I made my 3rd Olympic team after 3 years of loss, 3 years of failure.
I want to stand up and applause, man. I want to just stand up and applause.
3 years of disappointment.
This is a movie, folks. You're seeing a movie right here. We're narrating the movie.
I know. And when I tell you that making the Olympic team after the 3 years that had preceded it and coming from what I thought would probably a never be type moment, it was the most incredible race of my entire career. I swear my Olympic trial races get so much love from me because they are the proof that you don't have to be 100% physically able when you're 100% mentally tough.
Yeah.
So like.
Well, yeah, you're the underdog.
Yeah.
And you're not expected, to be there.
Exactly.
It's like she's done. She's washed up.
done.
She's been last for don't even worry about her.
She can't break 51.
You know what I mean?
That ain't gonna
And you haven't heard any of that crap.
Nope.
It's like, wait a second, she ain't paying attention to what we're saying.
Trying not to.
And right, exactly.
Thank God there was on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. It would have ruined me.
Yeah. You know what? Talk about that for a second. Was there ever any, some of that hate stuff out there? Stuff, people talking down you, trying to knock you, just to get into your head a little bit?
I was.
Is that a game some of the athletes play?
My generation was slightly protected from so much exposure.
Okay.
We had Facebook. We were just getting, I think, Snapchat was like just kind of coming on the scene. So we were, and it definitely wasn't the social platforms that they are now where everybody has their, entire lives on their pages. So that wasn't what I was up against. So thankfully I was somewhat protected from that because I know that this world now is a lot.
I don't think it would have mattered. I'm not going to lie.
Not to me.
Not to you.
Me.
I don't think it's going to matter. Just knowing you right now, I can just tell you that that wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered. I do have a lot of sympathy for this generation though that does have to navigate that.
Absolutely.
And I was just built different.
It's not for the weak.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I was
listen,
built different.
it's a choice. Everybody, they have a phone. All you do is shut off, not look at it.
You do.
You don't have to go on social media.
No, and
you know what I'm saying. So
unless your haters be your motivators.
Right.
I love when people. To answer your question, yes, there were people that was like, you need to hang it up. Like, you tried, good job, good effort, but it's starting to time to shut it down. And that actually motivated me.
Sure.
There was this one lady who she didn't mean it. She did not mean to be negative. I don't think I know that was not her intention. I was getting ready to walk out into the Olympic Stadium in 2012. I'm in the there's like a what would this be called? It's like the football tunnel of for the college football games.
Okay.
There's a tunnel, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the tunnel and I'm walking out, getting ready to walk out on the track. I mean, I'm in game mode. This is it. This is the Olympic finals. Like, my face is so serious. If you go Google DeeDee Trotter 2012 Olympic finals, you're going to see pictures of me that look like, who is that person? I just saw her, and that doesn't look like her. I mean, completely different.
This is like the Rudy movie, only of track.
Exactly.
It wasn't.
It's different. It's a game on. It's game on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can barely. There's nothing in my mind. The courtesy it took me not to say anything to this lady at all was very deep down in me. So I'm walking out, and she's representing the team, and she's the kind of like our liaison at this point. She makes sure that when we go onto the track, we have the right clothes, the bib number. You got your spikes, like you're not
taking care of you.
She's making sure she's the last box that
it's like the house mom.
There you go.
There you go.
So she's checking the boxes, and when I get to the end of the tunnel, she says, "I can't believe you're here." And I know how she meant it.
Right. She meant it like, I'm thankful and grateful you're here. Yeah.
But she said, "I can't believe you're here."
Yeah.
And I know what she meant, but she didn't realize that's exactly what I needed to hear before I walked out on that track. I pulled my attitude together, and I said, thank you. Thank you. I needed that. You just reminded me of why I'm going to go out here and beat everybody. That put that into my heart. Just that little bit. So let your haters be your motivators. If you do read all that stuff people write about you, you know.
Hey, I've been doing I can'ts my whole life. I love it. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
I love when you
know
tell
what I
me
mean?
what I can't do.
Yeah.
Because then I'm going to do it.
Exactly. So you go out there and you win a gold medal.
I go out there and I won the bronze medal.
Bronze medal. Oh,
Yes.
that was the bronze medal.
This is the 400-meter race final. I am in lane 4.
Now, at this time, you have a gold medal, though, right?
I have the gold from 2004 in the 4x4 relay.
So I got to admit, I'm going to ask. I'm not going to admit. I'm going to ask. But I already think I know the answer. This bronze medal is probably worth a lot more than the gold medal.
It is. It is my different shade of gold is what I call it, my different shade of gold.
Yeah.
This race had, again, Sonia Richards-Ross, myself, and who was the Great Britain. And there was a young lady from Botswana, and there was a Russian in the race. So this race was stacked. If you don't run 49, probably ain't gonna get it. You gotta run 49 to get top 3, probably. So we were the race went off. Sonia, the Russian, actually went out like a bat out of hell. I at that point when I saw her go out like that, I stopped being worried about her being in the contingency. I said, if she can hold that, congratulations on being the Olympic champion. Good job. So she went out like a bat out of hell, and Sonia...
You know what them Russians do, man. I told you about Rocky IV.
It's tricky. It's tricky. So Sonia and her are running side by side at this point. Sonia broke the stagger on her and then started to relax. I'm in the lanes behind them, so this is all happening in front of me. So I'm in the lanes behind them. I'm sticking to my race pattern. I know at the last 200 meters, I'm putting in my move. So at 200, I start to build ground on what was lost, and I'm coming around the turn, and at 300 of the 400-meter race, I'm in first place. This shocked everyone, including my contenders. Did
it shock you?
No. I had already visualized this race a million times, and I visualized exactly what was happening. So at 300 meters with 100 meters to go, I'm in the lead. As we start coming down the home stretch, and this is a fun part of the story I like to tell because in 2008, Sonia Richards, she got 3rd at the Olympic Games when I was hurt. And her bronze medal story is one that she does not like to talk about. But as a champion and as a person who has taken loss as the motivation for achieving my next level of success, when I started to beat her and the rest of the field, I guarantee you something flashed back to 2008 for her.
Sure.
And she said, not this time.
And that was her motivation.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell people the equation of success doesn't change because the story is not about me. It's the same formula of using loss to transform your future, using that loss to give you what you need to know what you need to win in the future. So I guarantee you that 2008 moment just flashed before our eyes at some point and said, not again. And she found a way to get that extra energy to get her one half a stride ahead of the field. She won the 2012 Olympic Games. And the British girl came barely, me and her are leaning it out. And so it was she got 2nd and I got 3rd. And a lot of people always ask me, was I disappointed because I was winning? I mean, yeah, part of you feels like, yeah, you were winning and yeah, you had it, you know, but it ain't had till you cross the finish line.
Right.
So you ain't had nothing. You had
but
a chance.
Do you watch that? Do you watch that race back though and say, damn,
No.
Right here, this moment, So you ran exactly the way you wanted to.
I ran exactly the way
that's
that
good.
No
regrets.
I have no regrets. I ran exactly the way that I could, and I left every single thing out there on the track. When you give your all and you give everything you have in you, you can't really be disappointed with your results. It's not like you had something in your back pocket. It's when you go out there and you don't give your best. It's when you go out there and you let pressure or anxiety make you do something that you're not supposed to do and you don't go out there and execute your performance. When you screw it up, that's when you feel all that negativity and you feel like, oh my God, what did I do with my life? That's when you feel that way. But when you go out there and you execute your task and you do everything you're supposed to do and you do it right and you give your very best and you have nothing left in the tank.
That's it. You got nothing to lose.
You win.
That's it. That's right. Always.
So that is why when people ask me about my bronze medal, I always say, yes, that is my favorite medal of all my careers, not my golds. It's my bronze because it taught me that winning was all about perspective. And that's when I learned that, there's more than one type of champion in this world. I always, like, my whole life being an athlete, you always think a champion is just the person who crossed the finish line first, or the number one spot, the number one team. But by that definition, we would literally be a world full of losers. And I know that that's not true because when I crossed the finish line in third place, the last thing I felt like was a loser.
Yeah.
I had overcome 3 years of loss, 3 years of failure, 3 years of disappointment, 3 years of losing more races than I can remember. And here I am in 2012 with the bronze medal, top 3 in the entire world, when nobody ever thought I would even be there again.
Amen.
So
when's the movie coming out? When's the movie coming out?
Dari of a track star.
Let's go. Let's go. We got to get that thing fired up.
No.
I'm telling you, man. I was into this. I'm into this.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, Dee, I appreciate you sharing that whole journey with me. I felt like I just went on the journey with you. Like,
I'm glad.
I'm a huge fan now.
Did you break a sweat?
But I want to say something. I'm proud of you.
Thank
I know we just met, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for not giving up. Not giving up on yourself, not giving up on your dreams, not giving up what you knew you could, you must, you will accomplish. Because so many people give up.
Yeah.
And it's easy. That's the easy thing to do, is just to quit.
Yep.
Anybody can quit. When you quit, you're done. You
Yep.
can't ever do another thing. When you quit, it's over.
It's a wrap.
But if you try, just try. You can do something different. You can make a difference, and you can build off of that.
Absolutely.
You can't build if you quit.
Absolutely.
So I'm just proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, and thanks for sharing that with us
You're
and everything.
welcome.
Your viewers need to hear. So when does DeeDee decide? Okay, all right, it's time. It's time for me to walk away. I'm going to start something else because you are an executive pastry chef.
Yes.
Okay, tell us about this transition in your life and where this all came about.
So, after 2012, I went back to running. I signed a new deal with Saucony. They came back on board. I was Saucony's first Olympic medalist in the history of the company.
Wow.
So that was
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And so I signed with them and I ran for 3 more years. So I went for another Olympic try, actually. So 4 years. So I said 2016, that's it. I'm going one more time. And I hadn't really put a clock on it until my body started to say, T-minus 10. T-minus 10,
Right.
9, 8.
Yeah.
So I decided that 2016, my body decided that 2016 was going to be my last attempt. I barely made it through that season. My body just really started to fail. And my knees were the least of my worries. My hamstrings started to literally stop contracting. It was just a lot of different stuff. New tech though, shout out to PRP. For those who are looking to heal, PRP therapy is an awesome way to get your body back in gear.
I literally just did stem cells this morning.
There you go.
Trying to get that. I've done PRP many times on my shoulder.
Quality
but
of life.
Unfortunately, as you get older, these injuries come up.
They do.
Yeah.
And so the PRP gave me an awesome quality of life because if I just left it at running, I wouldn't be able to sit here in this chair talking to you. So
I got to give a shout out, Dr. Elamine. He was on our pod. Check him out.
Ooh,
He's the one who did my stem cells, but unbelievable man.
It's magic, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I ended up setting my date for 2012. For 2016 as my last year. I barely made through that season. I almost couldn't even make it to the trials. It was with the grace of God and some wonderful trainers and all the people at USC that were helping to make my Olympic transition possible. I thank you guys. So at 2016, I made it around the track. I got to take my last lap at the Olympic trials in the semifinals of the 400 meters. I got a standing ovation by Hayward Field.
Oh, there you go.
They were so great, man. It brings tears in my eyes, you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Hayward Field for showing that love. They are the #1 track community in the world. And Hayward Field, Eugene, Oregon, at the United States Olympic Trials in 2016. That the stadium, you'll never find a better crowd than Eugene. They gave me a standing ovation. DeeDee Trotter, OUT. We good. We're out of here. And I retired 2016 after the semifinals, not making it to the finals of the 2016 Olympic trials. So I ended up going to Rio, but as an Olympic ambassador. I would immediately get a phone call after I retired from an amazing company. It's called Education First, also known as EF. Shout out to EF. I love y'all. They came through and swooped me up and said, we would love for you to be our Olympic ambassador. Basically that meant representing them. They were one of the Olympic sponsors.
Sure.
And
some smart people.
I said, yeah, man, yeah, they were. And they were like, come be a part of our team. And basically, I turned that into, doing motivational speaking for them all around the world at all of their branches and offices, and within the network of their other businesses that they had relationships with. I helped them to strengthen their relationships, open new doors for new relationships using my story.
Right.
And that is how I came up with the next phase of my life, which was becoming a motivational speaker. And I travel around the world telling people the story of a champion, a bronze medal champion, and how you can transform yourself into the best version of yourself, also called unleashing your inner champion.
See, and you get paid for this, folks. Just so you know, she gets paid for this. You're getting it today for free. So subscribe. Click the link and subscribe. Okay?
Right. I went around the world, literally, and I don't mean that figuratively. I mean that literally around the world to more countries than I can count. Telling the story of I can, I must, I will, and how to use pressure as power, how to use positivity as power, how to use confidence as power, how to use belief as power. And my trademark, I can, I must, I will, is now my new book of motivational quotes.
Congratulations. It's trademarked. So you own the rights and everything to that. That's great.
I must, I will. I gotta
Where can everybody find this? Amazon? Boom.
Amazon, yep.
On Amazon.
Go to Amazon, get I Can, I Must, I Will. It is a book of motivational quotes because for me, those quotes that just sometimes you don't have time to be reading the whole book to get to the message of how you can improve yourself. Right. Sometimes you just need a quick word. And that always came from me from Bible scriptures. The quick word, get it. I can do all things. Bam. That's what I was saying. Wham, bam. I can do all things. Through,
just like that.
Exactly.
Through Christ. So, got it written right here. Philippines 4:13, baby.
It is.
That's
I
right
can do all things
through Christ who strengthens me.
And that's literally the last thing I said before I took off on the 2012 Olympic Games. If you go YouTube that race, you will see my mouth moving, saying, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I can, I must, I will. So that became the center of my power. And I share that power. I share that journey. I share that message in this book full of quotes that will help you keep going, help you keep pushing, help you keep fighting for your goals. Pick it up. And
how much is the book? How much is the book?
It's like $19, y'all. Go get
$19, folks. $19. Go to Amazon, buy it. It's $1 million worth of information in here. You get it today for $19. And I'll even take one step further. If you buy and you don't like it, Wham Bam will refund you your $19. This is a must buy right here. Must buy. Okay, for sure. Taking on obviously motivational speaking and everything else. Where did you become a pastry chef? An executive pastry chef just means you're pretty good at what you do. You're just a champion at everything.
I try to win at everything I touch, and that's just, you got to have that mentality. Win, go, win. You got this.
But you know what? You said the key word in that phrase. Try.
Try, period.
Again, you got to try.
Period.
Because if you don't try, you quit. You can't do shit.
Try. If you don't try, you've already failed. So you might as well just go ahead and put failure in your column of what you.
Why pastry chef? I love desserts. I'm not gonna lie, man.
It's the right thing to
Italian guy. My mom was cooking the cheesecake, the tiramisu, the cannolis. You do all that stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Oh boy, I'm gaining weight just thinking about it.
I actually always wanted to be a little chef. I didn't really know it. God has given me so many talents. It's always been hard to kind of decipher which move I'm supposed to make next, but track and field dominated my what to do next for a moment, right? Uh-huh. And so when that failed out, I started to see my other windows. Speaking became the next thing, and that's definitely God driven for 100%. That journey that he put me on for something I did not love. Mm-hmm. He
like running. Yeah, like running.
I did not love the running. Yeah. And so on that journey, He said, I got big plans for you. Now tell people about it and inspire them to win in life. So that became that. But I also I loved baking when I was younger. And my baking story is so crazy. I have a stab wound right here.
A stab wound?
Yeah, if y'all can see that, I stabbed.
Did your brother give you that?
No, he wasn't even there. He wasn't there for this. My cousin Diamond is actually. So, what happened was, as a youngster, 8 years old, between the ages of 8 and 10, I really just loved this whole baking thing. I give me the Easy Bake Oven. I need it. You know, cooking cake with a lamp was just, awesome. But when I was about 8, I was playing chef. And this is my first time telling the story. So you guys heard it first right here on Wham Bam. Okay.
Let's go.
I was about 8 years old, and I was playing chef with my cousin Diamond. And Diamond's older than me, so I went downstairs. We were upstairs, supposed to be in bed asleep now. We ain't supposed to be up playing. But we was up and we were playing. I was like, well, first I would like to prepare for you. I was like, well, hold on. I need to go get some stuff. So I said, hold on. So I went downstairs. I crept past my mom, who was sleeping on the couch, literally. Tiptoe, right past her. Went in the kitchen, got a steak knife and some single sliced cheese. Now notice, these are very important factors you need to remember through the rest of the story. A steak knife.
I see a script. Okay, I'm following this.
And single sliced cheese, okay, which means it's already cut.
Right.
So I tiptoed back, past my mom, upstairs, back to the room so I could finish the cooking show. So I was like, okay, now what I would like to prepare for you today is we're going to cut these items here, and I start cutting them, and then she's like, your mama's coming. And I was like, oh. So I ran and jumped into bed.
And stabbed.
And I stabbed myself. Yes. I stabbed myself in the arm. And then I was laughing at first. I was like, and then I was like, oh my God. And then I pulled it out. And Diamond was sitting there like, oh my God. And my mom comes running up the stairs because we're screaming. And she's come running up the stairs. She's like, what happened? She has no idea what's going on. I was like, what happened? What happened? I was like, Diamond said you was coming. The whole thing. So the paramedics come. I get rushed to the hospital. I missed any major arteries or anything. It was just super, I did stab myself. I had to get stitches.
Got a little scar there forever.
Yeah.
It's a reminder. It's a memory.
I did it. And from that point on, it took me a long time to even remember that story. One of my friends, she was asking me like, what made you want to become a chef? And I was like, I don't know. And one day I started telling her about getting stabbed. And I was like, dang, my chef story goes back. I was playing chef when I was little. And so I always wanted to be a chef. I didn't know that that's what I would eventually do. It's just something I really liked. Mm-hmm. I liked doing event design and interior design. It was kind of like, the designing part, the party planning, the event planning. I used to do all my friends' baby showers, their wedding showers, their weddings. I used to just start doing their stuff as an adult. And it was like, you're kind of good at this. You like it, right? So I was like, yeah, when I'm done with running, I'm going to open up my own bakery and I'm going to do this thing. And in LA, I started doing stuff. I went even to a couple of cafes to try to get my desserts in there. And then, like I said, EF called and I was like, adios, I'm out. I'm going to EF. So that put me on pause for being a pastry chef, but I had actually teed that up. I was like, when I retire, I'm going to do my own bakery. And that was my plan. And then EF called and they opened up the door for my speaking. And I was like, oh, I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. And then when COVID came, I was like, shut down because my job was international.
Sure.
And I could not travel anymore. And so when COVID came, I said, period, I'm done. I'm going to go to culinary school, which I had put on hold for 2 years to work with EF. Mm-hmm. So I said, for me, the only thing to get something done and stop playing baby games with it is really just to go and knock it out. So school was the right thing. And I had never paid for school before, so I was really frustrated about that.
So never too late.
I was like, could I get a scholarship? Y'all don't got scholarships for people like me. I'm an Olympian. Can I get a scholarship?
If you hadn't met Wham Bam, if you cooked me some food, I might have paid for some of that. You know what I mean?
Didn't know. I was trying to get scholarships. I'm like, dang, once you get a 4-year degree, you can't get a scholarship in this thing. So no, I had to pay for it out of pocketbook, and that, I think honestly, paying for it is what's making me, stay in it. You invest.
Makes you a little hungry. Exactly.
You invest in yourself.
That's right.
So I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta in 2000. And so the world shut down 2020.
Don't even tell me you got like some 4.0 GPA and graduated probably. Top of, yeah, exactly.
So again, with the
Imagine
goal
that.
setting,
Yeah,
like seriously, with the goal setting, I walked through the door of that school and I felt tears come to my eyes. I said, I'm in the right place. And I saw this, the principals awards. And I was like, oh, I'm getting that. I'm going to be valedictorian. Set a goal, period. Like, that's it. I want to be valedictorian. I didn't know what that would mean for me, but I wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
So I walked in there with that attitude. I was valedictorian. I had a perfect 4.0 GPA, and I was top culinary student.
That's awesome.
And I graduated in fall of 2001. Yes, fall of 2001. My 2-year stint was shortened because I had a 4-year degree from Tennessee. I was able to use some of my credits from my 4-year degree. And also I was able to use my speaking as my credit for public speaking because obviously I had been doing that as a profession. Right. So that took another class right on off. See how God be aligning my life, making stuff right.
And you know what? What about these these shows? What about TV reality show with with chefs and cooking and stuff? Yeah. Would you do one of those or what?
So I actually got a call from Food Network early in my very early stages of I don't think I was a year out of culinary school. And there was a production company just calling around trying to look for chefs to do stuff, and they stumbled upon me. And it was for an opportunity to do the Christmas holiday challenge or something, the Christmas holiday show, cooking show. And at that time, I was really, I'm still very new to the industry, but I'm just a little advanced in my newness because I have surpassed a lot of the traditional route of what would happen. 6 months out of culinary school, I'm the executive pastry chef at Druid Hills Golf Club, which is like
it's big time.
It's like a never thing, you know?
Yeah.
And the opportunity came by one of my mentors at the time. It was Analia Bobber, and she just really believed in me. And she knew what I was capable of, and she knew that if nothing else, if I couldn't do it yet, I would be a person that could do it. Right. So she was like, give her a shot. She can do this job. So her believing in me to take on an executive job only 6 months out of culinary school was what gave me the, okay, if she thinks I can do it, I can do it, right? There you go. So I went on ahead with that, and I took on that job, and it was hard because I came into when I came into Druid Hills at the time, they had lost their entire pastry department. And so I was team solo. It was me and Analia banging it out for a few months. And I started getting people in and hiring new people. And this was a lot of stuff I hadn't done before. And I just literally got thrown in, and I just started figuring it out. Champion mindset, right? Go. So I started figuring it out. And next thing you know, I excelled. I soared at this job, and I love it. I love the environment that I'm in. It is tiring being an executive chef. Yeah. It's not easy.
So when are we making for Christmas the DeeDee Trotter bacon oven for these kids? We got to do something, man.
The easy bake, but the DeeDee way.
The DeeDee Trotter one. The DeeDee Trotter one.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I never did. Oh, I lost track of the story. I never did the Food Network shows, but they did find me through Druid Hills. It didn't pan out, and it was some confusion about my speaking schedule. It was a little conflict of contract.
Would you do one now? Would you do a show?
I would like to do a team show.
Yeah.
I find it more fun. What I love about baking and pastry is that it is a craft for me. It is an art. It's not just about producing food. There's an art.
How do you stay skinny, man? You
genetics.
gotta try that
brother,
stuff.
He likes Snoop Doggy Dogg. Yeah. we just genetically skinny like this.
I hate you both for that. I hate you both for that. That's just wrong.
I work 12-hour shifts.
Tell me, do you run every day? 100 miles. I'll feel a little better.
When you work 12-hour shifts on your feet all day, you burn a few calories. So yeah, I mean, I do work very hard. I work long hours. And then went on top of that, I went and started my own business called Taste of Gold, which I think is so cleverly named.
Taste of Gold,
yes,
love
you get to bite the metal. Go ahead. That's there you go. Uh-oh. Taste of Gold. So I started that business, and so now I'm running. I'm the executive pastry chef at Druid Hills, and I'm also the executive pastry chef and owner of Taste of Gold Bakery. And we are a commercial kitchen, so do not try to pull up, y'all. Don't pull up. You can't pull up. I'm a commercial kitchen. We will schedule your delivery, or we will schedule your pickup. Okay.
There you go.
So basically we are. I'm growing as an independent business, and it's being a small business owner is tough. I'm not, Jesus. Yes, it is tough. But Taste of Gold is doing very well. I am so excited about the future of this business. We are at the point now where it is time to expand. We are going to grow even more. And one thing I love about Taste of Gold is that I try my best to make sure that you don't just get a pretty cake. You get a yummy cake. I don't know, people always say, I went to a wedding, the cake was beautiful, but it was nasty. Pretty cakes are nasty cakes. And not at Taste of Gold. Pretty cakes are yummy cakes, okay?
Oh, I'm going to give you the Wham Bam challenge then. We need a Wham Bam podcast cake.
Got you.
We're going to bring it out here. We're going to test it out, and I'll let you know for sure.
Done. I'm telling you, we will not disappoint. I give gold medal effort to every cake.
That's great. Well, DeeDee, listen, it's been so great getting to know you today. Before we wrap it up here, tell the viewers anything last thing that you want to say and let them know before we go.
Man, it's been such a wonderful podcast. It's like I went over so much of my life. So I guess if I could leave you with anything, I would say believing in yourself, believing in your goals, believing in your dreams. You will not get to them unless you believe in them. And belief starts with allowing yourself to build through progress, please, and trying. Please, just try. If you don't try, you've already failed. And honestly, failure only lasts as long as it takes you to get back up and try again. So let failure be the foundation of your success. Let it teach you what you need to know to win. You've heard me say that multiple times throughout the podcast. That is how I got to my greatness. Without loss, I'm not the champion that Phil is wearing on his neck.
There we go.
Without loss, I do not become the athlete, the chef, the speaker. Without it, I'm not who I am. So take your losses, learn from them, and use them to get to your greatness.
There you have it, folks. You heard it. I couldn't say it any better. You got to try, man. As we said before, never quit, always try. If you try, you're always learning, you're growing, you're getting better. And as your boy Wham Bam always says, if your life was a movie, would it be worth watching? And if the answer is no, then stop being ordinary and start being extraordinary. Till next Wednesday, baby, stay positive and always keep testing negative. I'm your boy Wham Bam, and I'm out.